Hey people, I'm Cynthia. A few weeks ago, my husband and I, we took the webinar, Public versus Private, that Dave, Jose, and Josh Barnett were offering. And from that webinar, I've had a couple of successes that I wanted to share with you. Dave was saying about fighting smart when we show up to our doctor, our dentist, our school board meetings. Let them know ahead of time with a written notice how you will be standing when you arrive. And to me, that was a missing piece. I'd been going into businesses and then having the confrontation, and I was like, wait a minute, this makes so much more sense. So I gave it a try 2 times. So I had a dentist appointment, a dental cleaning appointment on October 22nd at 3 p.m. And what I did was a week and a half ahead of time, I wrote my very first notice. Well, it took me a couple of days to write the notice, but I sent it a week and a half ahead of time. And this is my very first notice that I ever wrote right here. It's 2 pages, legal size paper, sent it certified, return receipt, mail, just like I've been taught by Dave and Josh. And I let them know that I would be standing on my constitutional rights and that I would not be wearing a mask. I would not accept being asked if I've been vaccinated or unvaccinated, my own health choices. And then I also said I didn't want to gargle with this blue stuff that they introduced in the past year that makes me feel nauseated. And at the beginning and the end of my notice, I also said clearly that this is an educational piece, that they might not know this information, and I just wanted to give them information on constitutional rights. So when I went to my dentist appointment, my dentist came out, my same dentist of 15 years, so we know each other, and he said, I got your letter, and he started asking me about medical. Do you have any concerns? Do we need you to fill out paperwork? And I was thinking, what the heck? I didn't say anything about medical concerns other than HIPAA law. You can't ask me about my private medical issues. So I just listened, and I listened to everything he had to say, and I smiled, and Then I said, well, I'm standing on my constitutional rights because I'm very concerned what's happening in our country. And I said, I brought some more educational information for you that you might want to read if you're interested. He said he was. So I gave him the second Declaration of Independence that was written in 2020, and I had highlighted some points in there, and he said he was interested. And then at the end of our conversation with that and why I was standing on my constitutional rights, he said, well, I gave your letter to our attorneys, and they said that constitutional rights have no merit. And I just said, well, that's interesting. And then I went on, and they complied with my notice, which was I didn't wear a mask. They didn't ask me my health choices about my vaccinated or unvaccinated state, which they had done 6 months ago. And I was not even asked to gargle with the blue stuff. So win, 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 smoke and fire, right? So I was super thrilled on that. And another thing that myself and my husband and 2 friends of ours took action on was our local post office, the one closest where we mail all of our affidavits and notices, where we spend a lot of money. They kept pressuring us every time we go in. They kind of hold our packages, our last packages at the end, and be like, you need to put your mask on, or tell us right away, you need to put your mask on. And it was just constantly this battle. So myself and 2 of my friends, I wrote up my second notice, and again, this was all inspired from the public versus private webinar. And so I wrote up a notice, and I did it as a group with the 4 of us on there, and me and 2 of my friends, we went to the post office, and I went in with a mask, and I said, can I please speak with the postmaster? And they said, oh, the postmaster's not here, which I already knew because I'd investigated that. And so I said, can I speak with the next person in charge? And so the next person in charge came out, and I said, well, could we meet outside at the package delivery so we can be outside? And they said yes. So I said, I introduced the three of us and I gave the person in charge our notice and explained that we're just here to give some education and that we would like to be continuing using this branch of the post office, and we spend a lot of money and we just love, it's always clean and people are friendly. And then I started pointing out on our notice where the Hawaii State Constitution and how we will be coming in to this branch without a mask. And then he said, listened. And of course he said, well, I'll have to give this to HR and to our attorneys. And then one of my friends said, I have this letter here and it's directly from the United States Post Office. And guess what? At the very bottom of this letter, right there in this paragraph, it says, well, actually it's these last two paragraphs, it says that they don't really believe in these mandates, and that if a customer chooses to not follow the sign of wearing a mask, not take the mask that's being offered, that they will still serve the customer as long as they're social distancing. So we gave this letter, which was from everydayconcerned.net, everydayconcerned.net. We gave them their own letter back, and then we just, proceeded to just remind them that this was an educational piece. So on our notice, we said 5 days, so we waited our 5 days, and then this past Monday, actually it was just yesterday, the 25th, the three of us went in to mail a ton of courtesy notices, and also the courtesy notice was to follow up on Clean Hands affidavit, and then also we were sending notice to Merrick Garland. So we went in, the three of us, without a mask, waited in line. We got called up to the clerk's counter, and she said, you need to wear a mask. And we said, no, we've already given notice to the post office. And she says, I'll get you somebody. And I said, could you please get Jen Cariosa? Because he's the one we spoke with. And she said, well, the next thing I know, three of us are being called down to the very end clerk, not getting spoken to by the person in charge, so they obviously knew. And then that person served us with kindness, and we talked story while we waited because there was a big stack of envelopes. And then we went outside and we were standing again by the package pickup door. And we're standing there and the door starts opening and we're like, what? The same clerk that had just served us and mailed our envelopes looked at one of us and said, oh, can I speak with you for a minute? So the friend went up and we flanked her, we're there for her, supporting her. And the clerk started saying, I'm really sorry that last week I treated you disrespectfully for not wearing a mask. And she said some other stuff. We backed off so it could be a private conversation. And we were all just blown away that not only did we stand on our constitutional rights, but the clerk had come around and started acting human and apologized. And we were so elated. We were just like unreal. So this was true smoke and fire, people. Get out there, start writing these notices ahead of time before you show up to businesses, and then do exactly what we're being taught by Dave and Josh. Smile, be friendly, make sure that you address everything as this is an educational piece because I've just been learning it and you might not know it, etc., etc. Anyway, I highly recommend, and my husband as well, we recommend the public versus private webinar, and keep studying with Dave and Josh, and we just signed up for their masterclass, so we're really excited. Anyway, aloha.